If you love Paul Harvey stories and the rest of the story, subscribe now. Now the rest of the story. Every stagehand in the theater could hear the screaming, most of them knowing nodded, smiling. The star was throwing another tantrum. Although this outburst sounded particularly violent, now the source of the commotion was one Jessie Bartlett Davis, a contralto of considerable talent and fame, more than her share of artistic temperament. Her performance, now only minutes past, was the opening night of a brand new musical on Broadway, entitled Robin Hood. Now, from the sound of the applause, it had gone quite well, at least well enough, but not well enough for the fussy Jessie Bartlett Davis. Of all of the music and the score, she complained, there was not one number that did justice to her rich contralto voice. Not one. Well, predictably and promptly, the composer was summoned. His name was Reginald Decavan, a dashing young fellow with bright ideas and a brilliant future, at least thus far. He appeared in the dressing room doorway, hand in hand, flinching at the harshness of Jessie's criticisms. He had done his best, he said. The ranges for Jessie's solos were suited to the contralto gamut, he said, but the singer remained adamant. It takes more than the correct range to make music come to life, she insisted. It takes a special magic of which young Decavan was apparently in short supply, and for this reason the debut of Robin Hood was also to be its swan song. The first performance was to have been the last performance as far as Jessie Bartlett Davis was concerned. While the composer's heart sank, he was certain that he had put his finest efforts into the opera. Yet, having failed to please his star performer, it was now much too late to rewrite. But this is the rest of the story. Suddenly, Reginald Decavan remembered a piece that he had written years ago, an art song in the European style. It had been composed with a contralto voice in mind. The piece had failed, unfortunately, and had never even been sung publicly. But if there were the slightest chance that Jessie Davis might like it, he must resurrect the song from the scrap heap immediately, or face an unaffordable future. So come with me, Reginald pleaded with his leading lady, and he took her gently by the hand out to the stage. As the last audience member exited the theater, the young composer leaped into the orchestra pit and made his way to the piano. He played this all but forgotten melody, singing the lyrics as best he could sing them, and as best he could recall them. When he was through, he looked up to the stage. He looked into the eyes of Jessie Davis, and she was weeping. Well, happily, the song was worked into the musical